She was barely surviving, working a party she didn't belong at. One clumsy mistake. Wine spilled all over the vampire CEO. She thought her life was over. Instead, he looked at her like she'd just saved him from something terrible. Now he's saying she can never leave. The crystal chandelier above Mia's had cost more than she'd earn in 10 years. She knew this because Mrs. Henderson, the head server, had reminded the staff 3 times tonight. Don't look up. Don't breathe wrong. And for God's sake, don't touch anything you don't have to. Mia's feet ached in her borrowed heels. She'd worked a double shift at the diner before this, and her 3rd job of the week was starting to show. The silver tray trembled slightly in her hands as she weaved through Vancouver's elite, tech moguls, oil barons, and others whose wealth she couldn't even categorize. But it was the other guests that made her skin prickle. The cold ones. The beautiful ones. Vampires. She'd learned to spot them over her 6 months working these high society events. They moved too smoothly, smiled without warmth reaching their eyes, and never touched the food. Only the wine. Always the wine, dark as blood, served in black crystal glasses that probably cost more than her car. Well, her former car. Repossessed last month. Table 7 needs refills, Mrs. Henderson hissed, appearing at Mia's elbow. The host's table. Don't mess this up, girl. Adrian Black doesn't tolerate incompetence. Mia's stomach dropped. Adrian Black. Even she knew that name. CEO of Black Industries, a tech empire that had expanded impossibly fast over the past 5 years. Forbes called him a genius. Wall Street called him ruthless. The tabloids called him devastatingly handsome and eternally single. The staff whispered he was something else entirely. Vampire Lord. Ancient. Dangerous. Moving, Mia muttered, grabbing a fresh bottle of the estate reserve. $3,000 a bottle, Mrs. Henderson had mentioned with a meaningful glare. Table 7 sat on a raised platform at the center of the ballroom, like a throne overlooking the kingdom. 6 figures occupied it, all inhumanly beautiful, all radiating the kind of power that made smart people keep their distance. And at the head sat Adrian Black. Mia's breath caught despite herself. He looked maybe 30, with sharp cheekbones and black hair that fell perfectly across his forehead. His suit probably cost what she made in a year. But it was his eyes that stopped her, pale gray, almost silver, and so cold they seemed to pull heat from the air. Those eyes flickered to her as she approached. "Wine, sir?" Her voice came out steady. "Small miracle." He didn't respond, just gave the slightest nod, his attention returning to the man beside him, another vampire, older-looking, with white hair and a cruel smile. Mia moved around the table, refilling glasses with practiced efficiency.
Don't shake.
Don't spill. Don't. The human situation requires immediate action, the white-haired vampire was saying. They're breeding too fast, demanding too much. Counselor Thorne. Adrian's voice cut like ice. We're not discussing policy at a charity event. Mia's hands trembled. She'd heard rumors about vampire politics, about the council that govern their kind, about humans being seen as...
What?
Food? Servants? She'd never wanted to know the details. She moved to Adrian's glass, leaning in carefully. That's when she saw him. Ryan. Her ex-boyfriend stood 20 feet away, glaring at her with those mean, possessive eyes she'd hoped never to see again. He'd found her. After 6 months of hiding, working under her mother's maiden name, sleeping on her friend's couch, he'd found her. And he was walking toward the table. Panic flooded Mia's system. Her hands shook. The bottle tilted too far. Wine splashed across Adrian Black's sleeve. The room didn't just go quiet. It went dead. Every conversation stopped. Every vampire's head turned. Even the humans seemed to sense something terrible had happened. "I'm so sorry," Mia gasped, grabbing a napkin. "I'm so sorry, Sir Isle." She reached to blot his sleeve. The wine glass shattered in her other hand. Pain sliced through her palm. Blood welled up, dark red against her pale skin. A single drop fell onto Adrian Black's wrist. The temperature in the room plummeted. Adrian's entire body went rigid. His eyes, those cold gray eyes, exploded into crimson. Not just red, but glowing, like embers in a dying fire. Every vampire in the room surged to their feet. Impossible, someone whispered. The soul mark. It can't be. Mia stumbled backward, cradling her bleeding hand, not understanding but knowing something terrible had happened. Adrian stared at his wrist where her blood had touched him. A symbol was forming there, glowing gold beneath his skin, intricate and ancient. The same symbol was burning into Mia's bleeding palm. No, Adrian said, his voice rough. No, this isn't. He looked up at her, and Mia saw something in those red eyes she hadn't expected.
Fear.
Seize her, Counselor Thorne commanded. Before another house claims. Touch her and die. Adrian's voice resonated with power that made the chandeliers shake. He was on his feet, moving faster than Mia's eyes could track, positioning himself between her and the other vampires. Adrian, you can't be serious, a stunning woman in a black gown said, her voice dripping with disgust. A human? A common waitress? The soul mark bond is sacred. This must be a mistake. There are no mistakes with soul marks, Lady Seraphine. Adrian hadn't taken his eyes off Mia. You know this. Mia's head spun. Soul mark?
Bond? What were they talking about?
I need to leave, she whispered, backing toward the exit. I need to. You're not going anywhere. Adrian's voice was softer now, but no less commanding. You're coming with me.
Now.
Like hell she is. Ryan's voice cut through the chaos. He'd pushed through the crowd, his face red with rage. That's my girl. She owes me money, and she's coming with. Adrian moved. One moment he was 5 feet away. The next, his hand was wrapped around Ryan's throat, lifting him off the ground. This human, Adrian said quietly, just became the most important person in the vampire world. Touch her, speak to her, look at her again, and I will rip out your spine and make you watch as I... Adrian, Counselor Thorne warned. Adrian dropped Ryan, who crumpled, gasping. Then that silver-red gaze fixed on Mia again. What's your name?
Mia.
Mia Chun. Mia Chun, he repeated, like he was tasting the words. You're coming to my estate. Tonight. This isn't negotiable. I don't understand. You will, he shed his wine-stained jacket and draped it over her shoulders. It smelled like expensive cologne and something else, something dark and old. But for now, you need to know one thing. That mark on your hand just bound your soul to mine. In vampire law, you're under my protection. In vampire politics, you just became a weapon. His eyes held hers, and for just a moment, that cold mask cracked. And I'm sorry, Mia-chan, because your life as you knew it just ended. The limousine was bigger than Mia's entire apartment. She sat pressed against the far door, Adrian's jacket still wrapped around her shoulders, watching 3 vampires argue about her like she wasn't even there. You should have let Thorne's guards take her to the sanctum, the woman, Lady Seraphine, said coldly. She sat across from Adrian, her beauty so perfect it looked carved from marble. At least there she could be processed properly. Processed. Mia's voice cracked. Like meat. Seraphine's eyes, pale blue and ancient, slid to her. Like the liability you are, human. Do you have any idea what you've done? I spilled wine. I didn't do anything to him. Your blood activated a soul mark bond. The 3rd vampire spoke for the first time, a lean man with dark skin and kind eyes. He sat beside Adrian, radiating less hostility than the others. It hasn't happened in over 300 years. Some vampires believed it was extinct. Luca, Adrian said quietly. Don't. She deserves to know what she's caught in. Luca turned to Mia. A soul mark bond links 2 beings at the deepest level. Life forces intertwined. In the old days, it meant destined mates, perfect compatibility. But it also means It means every vampire house in North America will want to control you, Seraphine interrupted. To control Adrian through you. You're a weakness now, girl. A vulnerability. And in our world, vulnerabilities don't survive long. Mia's hand throbbed. She looked down at the golden mark burned into her palm, an intricate pattern of circles and lines that seemed to pulse with its own light. Through the jacket sleeve, she could see the matching mark on Adrian's wrist glowing faintly. Take it back, she whispered. I don't want this.
Just
take it back. Soul marks can't be removed. Adrian's voice was flat. They can only be completed or broken. Completion requires a claiming ritual. Breaking requires. He stopped. Requires what? Mia demanded. Silence. One of us has to die, Lucas said quietly. That's the only way to break a soul mark bond. The limousine suddenly felt suffocating. Mia couldn't breathe. This wasn't real. This couldn't be real. 12 hours ago, her biggest problem was making rent. Now she was magically bonded to a vampire CEO and apparently marked for death by... How many? Adrian asked Luca, his phone glowing in the dark interior. 17 houses have already requested emergency council sessions. The European Coven wants a representative sent immediately. And the elders? Luca hesitated. The elders are convening for the first time in 50 years. Of course they are, Adrian muttered. Adrian, you have to claim the bond tonight, Seraphine pressed. Before someone challenges your right to her. If another lord proves stronger. No one is stronger than me. But if they acquire her blood, they could force a transfer ritual. She'd be bound to them instead, and you'd be dead, Luca finished. If the bond transfers while incomplete, the original vampire dies. It's ancient law. Mia's head spun. So you're saying people will try to kidnap me to kill him? Not just people. Vampires, Seraphine leaned forward. Powerful ones who've wanted Adrian's position for decades. You're human, weak, easy to take. Which is why you need to agree to the claiming ritual now, tonight, before. I'm not agreeing to anything. Mia's voice rose. I don't even know what that means. It means becoming his, Seraphine said coldly. Officially. Completely. A claimed bond gives him full rights over your life. Your choice is your... Seraphine, enough? Adrian's eyes flashed red. She's not cattle. Then what is she? Seraphine challenged. You can't keep her in bonded. It's too dangerous. The board will demand. The board doesn't command me. They will this time. Seraphine's smile was knife-sharp. I've already spoken to 6 members. They want an emergency meeting tomorrow night. They'll demand you either claim her immediately or surrender her to council custody. For the good of Black Industries. For the stability of our house. The limousine pulled through massive iron gates. Mia glimpsed walls, guards, and a mansion that looked like it belonged in a gothic horror film. Welcome to the Black Estate, Luca said gently. The car stopped. Adrian exited first, then turned back.
Mia. Come.
She didn't move. What if I run? You'll die. His voice held no emotion. I'm the only thing standing between you and a dozen vampire lords who'd love to use you against me. You stay in this mansion under my protection until we figure this out. For how long? As long as it takes. That's not an answer. Adrian's jaw tightened. You want honesty?
Fine.
That mark on your hand is broadcasting your location to every vampire within 50 miles. They can sense it, smell it in your blood. Right now, you're the most valuable human in the world, and the only reason you're still alive is because I'm the most dangerous vampire in it. So you can get out of this car and let me protect you, or you can run and see how far you get. Mia looked at her glowing palm, then at the darkness beyond the gate. Somewhere out there was her friend's couch, her 3 jobs, her small, hard life. But Ryan was out there too. And now, apparently worse things. She got out of the car. The mansion loomed above them, all dark stone and gothic spires. Seraphine swept past without a word. Luca paused beside Mia. For what it's worth, he said quietly. Adrian's not the monster everyone thinks. He'll keep you safe. Even from himself? Mia asked. Luca's smile was sad. That's the real question, isn't it? Adrian stood at the entrance, silhouetted against the warm light from within. Mia Chun, he called. Welcome to your new prison. The bedroom was larger than Mia's entire previous apartment. She sat on the edge of a bed that could fit 5 people, staring at the golden mark on her palm. 3 days in the Black Estate. 3 days of locked doors, vampire guards outside her room, and meals delivered by silent staff who wouldn't meet her eyes. She was a prisoner in a mansion. A pretty cage was still a cage. Her phone buzzed for the 100th time. She'd been ignoring it since the gala, but curiosity finally won. 23 missed calls from unknown numbers. 47 texts. Most were threats. We know where you are, human. The Black Lord can't protect you forever. Your blood will be ours. Mia deleted them with shaking hands. Then one more text came through. A local number. Baby, we need to talk. I can help you. The parking garage behind the estate, midnight. Come alone. Ryan. Her blood went cold. How did Ryan get this number? How did he know where she was? She should tell Adrian. She should. But what if this was her chance? Ryan was human, not a vampire. Maybe he'd found a way out of this nightmare. Maybe. I still have the photos, Mia. You know which ones. Come talk, or I send them everywhere. Your choice. Mia's hands trembled. The photos. God, she'd forgotten about those. 2 years ago, desperate for money for her mother's medical bills, she'd let Ryan talk her into. She'd been so stupid. So desperate. If those photos went public now, with her face all over vampire news as Adrian Black's soul bonded. She looked at the locked door. The guard outside would never let her leave. But the bathroom window was old, the lock rusty. And the fire escape was right there. Midnight. I'll be there. The parking garage smelled like oil and decay. Mia's borrowed coat, designer, probably worth thousands, did nothing against the cold. Her breath misted in the air as she crept between concrete pillars. Ryan, she whispered. There's my girl. He stepped from the shadows, and Mia's stomach turned. He looked the same, sandy brown hair, that cocky smile that used to make her feel special. Before she learned what it really meant. You look good, Ryan said, eyeing her expensive clothes. Life with a bloodsucker treating you right? What do you want? Same thing I've always wanted, baby. What's mine? He moved closer. Mia backed up. See, I've been doing research. Soulmark bonds? Worth millions to the right buyer. And you, with your precious mark, you're a gold mine. I'm not for sale. Everything's for sale, Mia. You taught me that, remember? When you borrowed $5,000 from me for your mom's hospital bills. Still haven't paid that back. You said it was a gift. You said. I say a lot of things, Ryan's smile widened. But here's what's real. I've got 3 vampire houses offering me serious money to deliver you. The Thorn Coven, the Western Lords, even some European creeps.
They all want you, baby.
And they're willing to pay. Horror washed over Mia. You're insane. Adrian will kill you. Adrian Black. Ryan laughed. That cold bastard doesn't care about you. You're a liability to him. But to his enemies, you're a weapon. And I'm the guy who can deliver. I won't go with you. You will. Ryan pulled out his phone. Because if you don't, these photos go viral. Mia Chun, Adrian Black soul bonded, in some very compromising positions. How do you think the vampire world will react? Think they'll still see you as valuable? Or just used goods? Tears burned Mia's eyes. You're a monster. I'm a businessman. Now here's the deal. The deal, a cold voice cut through the darkness, is that you have 10 seconds to run. Adrian materialized from the shadows like he'd been part of them. His eyes burned crimson, and the temperature dropped 20 degrees. Ryan stumbled backward.
Black.
We were just talking. 8 seconds. She owes me money. I have rights. 6 seconds. The photos. I have photos that'll ruin her, ruin you. Adrian moved faster than sight. One moment he was 10 feet away. The next, his hand was around Ryan's throat, lifting him off the ground. Let me be very clear, Adrian said softly. Mia Chun is under my protection. Those photos you mentioned? My people found and deleted every copy 6 minutes ago, from your phone, your computer, every cloud service you've ever used. The vampires you contacted? They've been informed that any attempt to acquire Mia will be considered an act of war against my house. Ryan's face turned purple.
You
can't. I can do anything I want. Adrian's grip tightened. I should kill you. I want to kill you. You threatened what's mine. Adrian, don't. Mia surprised herself by speaking.
Please.
He's human. You'll start a war with human authorities. Adrian's eyes shifted to her. For a long moment, something passed between them. Confusion, maybe. Why was she protecting Ryan? Because I'm not like them. I'm not a killer. Slowly, Adrian lowered Ryan to the ground. You get one warning. Disappear. Leave the country. If I see you again, if I hear you've spoken her name, I will make you beg for death and deny you the mercy. Ryan collapsed, gasping. Adrian grabbed Mia's arm. Not roughly, but firmly. We're leaving. He led her toward a waiting car. Mia glanced back once. Ryan was on his knees, staring after them with pure hatred in his eyes. You should have killed him, she whispered. I don't kill humans unless I have no choice. Adrian's voice was tight. But I just made a mistake, didn't I? Mia looked at her glowing palm, then back at Ryan's silhouette. Yeah, she said quietly. I think you did. The council meeting was supposed to be private. Mia learned this when Lady Seraphine dragged her into the grand hall by her arm, her vampire strength making resistance impossible. Let them see what you're protecting, Seraphine hissed at Adrian. The hall fell silent. 12 vampires sat around a massive obsidian table, the Black Industries Board of Directors. All ancient, all powerful, all staring at Mia like she was a bug that had crawled onto their feast. Adrian rose from his chair at the head of the table, his eyes flashing red. Seraphine, release her.
Now. Why?
Seraphine shoved Mia forward. She stumbled, catching herself on the edge of the table. Let them see up close what you're sacrificing everything for.
This.
Waitress. Board members. Adrian's voice was ice. This meeting is postponed. No, Counselor Thorne stood, his white hair gleaming. It's not. Miss Chen's presence is actually quite convenient. She should hear what we have to say. Mia's heart hammered. She tried to back toward the door, but 2 vampire guards blocked her exit. The soulmark bond has existed for 1 week, Thorne continued. In that time, we've lost 3 major contracts. Our European partners are threatening to sever ties. The Western Lords have issued formal complaints. All because you refuse to handle this situation properly. I'm handling it exactly as I see fit, Adrian said. You're being selfish. Seraphine circled Mia like a predator. Look at her, Adrian. Really look. She's weak, poor, uneducated. Careful, Adrian warned. And human, Seraphine's eyes locked on Mia. Do you know what I am, girl? I'm 473 years old. I've studied at Oxford, the Sorbonne, and institutions that don't exist anymore. I speak 11 languages. I've advised kings and presidents. My bloodline is pure, ancient, powerful. She grabbed Mia's wrist, holding up the glowing mark. And this accident means you're suddenly more important than me? More valuable than centuries of careful breeding and political alliances? Let her go. Adrian's voice dropped to a deadly whisper. Seraphine released Mia with a shove. The board has a proposal, Adrian. One that solves all our problems. I'm listening, Adrian said, though his posture said he wasn't. Thorne stepped forward. Dissolve the bond.
Publicly.
There are rituals, painful, dangerous but possible. Miss Chen would survive, probably. You'd be free to complete the alliance with Lady Seraphine as originally planned. Our houses would unite, our power would triple. And Mia would die within a week, Adrian interrupted. An incomplete soul mark dissolution is fatal to the human 90% of the time. 90% isn't 100, another board member said. A woman with red hair and cold green eyes. The girl could get lucky. Mia's blood ran cold. They were discussing her death like a business transaction. I would also die, Adrian said flatly. Soulmark dissolutions kill both parties if not done correctly. There are ways to protect you, Thorn insisted. Ancient magic, blood rituals.
No.
Adrian, be reasonable. Seraphine's composure cracked. I've waited 200 years for you. We were betrothed before she was even born. You can't throw that away for some human who stumbled into your life by accident. The soul mark doesn't happen by accident, Adrian said quietly. The room erupted. You can't be serious. This is madness. She's compromising everything. Enough. Adrian's voice boomed with supernatural power. The chandeliers shook. Every vampire in the room took an involuntary step back. This meeting is over. The bond stays.
Mia stays.
Anyone who disagrees can tender their resignation. Silence. Then Thorn spoke, his voice deadly calm. If you won't dissolve the bond, then complete it. Claim her fully. Make her yours officially. At least then she'd be a proper lady of the house, not this. Limbo. Adrian's jaw tightened. That's Mia's choice. Not yours. Not mine. All eyes turned to Mia. She stood there, trembling, feeling the weight of centuries of vampire politics crushing down on her. 1 week ago, she'd been invisible. Nobody. Now these ancient creatures were ready to start wars over her. What do you want, girl? Seraphine asked, her voice dripping with venom. To be Adrian's claimed mate? To play dress up as a vampire lady? You'd be a joke. A pet human pretending to be our equal. I want, Mia said, her voice shaking but clear, to not be treated like an object you can all trade around. Then leave, Seraphine challenged. Walk out that door. Refuse the bond. Let nature take its course. And die. Perhaps. Or perhaps you'd survive and be free. Isn't freedom worth the risk? Mia looked at Adrian. His face was an unreadable mask, but his eyes, those gray eyes now flickering with red, held something she couldn't name. What do you want? She asked him. The question seemed to catch him off guard. I want, he said slowly, for you to be safe. That's not what I asked. Their eyes locked. The soul mark on Mia's palm pulsed with warmth. This meeting is adjourned, Adrian said, breaking the gaze. Mia, return to your room. Don't dismiss me like a child.
Now.
The command in his voice was absolute. Vampire power, compelling and old. Mia's legs moved before her mind could protest. As the guards escorted her out, she heard Seraphine's laugh, cold and triumphant. She'll never be one of us, Adrian. And deep down, you know it. You're caging yourself for a human who'll die in 60 years while you live forever. Is that really what you want? An eternity of remembering what you gave up for a brief, meaningless moment. The door closed before Mia heard Adrian's response. But later that night, locked in her gilded cage, she realized Seraphine was right about one thing. She was a pawn, and pawns rarely survived the endgame. Mia woke to find Adrian sitting in the chair by her window. She should have screamed. Instead, she just pulled the blanket tighter and stared at him in the pre-dawn light. How long have you been there? She asked. 3 hours, no apology in his voice. You had a nightmare. You were calling for your mother. Mia's throat tightened. Her mother had died 2 years ago. The medical bills had buried Mia so deep she'd never climbed out. That's creepy, you know. Watching people sleep. Would you prefer I let you suffer alone? Adrian's eyes were gray now, not red. Almost human in the soft light. The soul mark lets me feel your distress.
It's
uncomfortable. Oh, poor you. A ghost of a smile crossed his face. You're not afraid of me anymore. I'm terrified of you, Mia corrected. I've just stopped showing it. Adrian stood, moving to the window. He looked tired, if vampires could look tired. Your ex-boyfriend, Ryan. My people have been tracking him. He's still in the city. I thought you scared him off. I thought so too. Adrian's jaw tightened. He met with 3 members of the Thorn Coven yesterday. Sold them information about your routines, the estate security, your room location. Fear spiked through Mia. What kind of information? Enough to be dangerous. Adrian turned to face her. I'm moving you to the East Wing. Reinforced doors, spelled windows. And he hesitated. I'll be in the adjacent room. You mean you'll be watching me even more closely? I mean I'll be close enough to protect you. Something flickered in his eyes. Seraphine was wrong, you know. At the meeting. You're not meaningless. The words hung in the air between them. Then what am I? Mia asked softly. Adrian opened his mouth, closed it. For the first time, he looked uncertain. I don't know yet, he finally said. But I'm trying to figure it out. Luca found Mia in the library that afternoon. Hiding? He asked, settling into the chair across from her. Reading, she held up a book on vampire history. Trying to understand what I'm stuck in. Any luck? Just more confused, Mia closed the book. Why are you nice to me, Luca? Everyone else here looks at me like I'm a bomb about to explode. Because I used to be where you are. Luca rolled up his sleeve, revealing a faded mark on his wrist, similar to hers, but silver instead of gold. I was soul-marked once. 40 years ago. Mia's eyes widened. You're human? Enhanced human. The partial bond gives me extended life, some vampire abilities. But yes, still human. Still mortal. Still remember what it's like to have your entire world turned upside down by something you didn't choose. What happened to your vampire? Luca's smile was sad. She died protecting me from her own family. They couldn't accept a human in their bloodline. He leaned forward. That's why I'm warning you, Mia. Adrian cares about you. I can see it, even if he can't admit it yet. But caring won't be enough if it comes to war. War. The houses are fracturing. Half support Adrian's right to the bond. Half want him to dissolve it or surrender you to council custody. The European covens are threatening intervention. And the elders. Luca lowered his voice. The elders haven't left their tombs in 50 years. But they're stirring now. Because of you. Mia's hands trembled. I didn't ask for any of this. I know. But here's what you need to understand. If Adrian chooses you, really chooses you, completes the bond, it won't just be a personal decision. It'll be a political statement. Human and vampire, equal. Some vampires will celebrate it. Others will see it as a threat to centuries of tradition. So, what am I supposed to do? That's not for me to decide, Luca stood. But ask yourself, is Adrian protecting you? Or is he keeping you prisoner? And more importantly, would you know the difference? That night, Adrian found Mia on the balcony of her new room. You'll freeze, he said, draping his coat over her shoulders. I needed air. These walls, she gestured helplessly. I know you're protecting me, but I can't breathe, Adrian. I can't work, can't see my friends, can't even walk outside without guards. This isn't living. It's surviving. What's the difference? Adrian was quiet for a long moment. When I was turned 300 years ago, I spent the first decade in a crypt. My sire believed new vampires needed isolation to accept their nature. No sunlight. No humanity. Just darkness and blood and time. His voice dropped. I thought I was surviving. But I was just existing. Mia looked at him, really looked. In the moonlight, he seemed less like a monster and more like a man carrying centuries of weight. What changed? She asked. I escaped, killed my sire, took his power, and built my own empire. Adrian's eyes met hers. I swore I'd never let anyone cage me again. And yet here I am, doing exactly that to you. Then let me go. If I do, you'll die. Maybe that's my choice to make. Adrian's hand moved to the mark on his wrist, glowing faintly in the dark. The bond is getting stronger. I can feel your emotions now. Your fear, your anger, he trailed off. You felt something earlier. When I said you weren't meaningless. Mia's breath caught. You can feel that. Everything, his voice was rough. And it's terrifying, because I haven't felt anything real in 200 years. Until you. Their eyes locked. The space between them seemed to shrink. Then Adrian stepped back. Tomorrow night is the Vampire Gala. All houses attending. The board insists you come. As a show of unity, his mask slipped back into place. Seraphine will be there. So will your enemies. Stay close to me. Always a cage, Mia whispered. Adrian's jaw tightened. But he didn't argue. Because they both knew she was right. The dress cost more than Mia had earned in her entire life. Midnight blue silk that clung to her body like water, with a neckline that made her feel exposed despite covering everything. The stylist had woven diamonds into her dark hair. The makeup artist had made her eyes look mysterious, dangerous even. You look like one of us, Lucas said gently, waiting by the limousine. Almost. Almost only counts in horseshoes, Mia muttered. Adrian emerged from the mansion in a black suit that probably cost more than a car. His eyes swept over her, and for just a moment, something heated flickered in their silver depths. You look, he started. Like I'm wearing a costume, Mia finished. Let's get this over with. The gala was held in a converted cathedral, all Gothic arches and stained glass, now repurposed for vampire excess. Blood-red roses everywhere. Ice sculptures. And vampires. Hundreds of them, in gowns and tuxedos, their beauty so overwhelming it almost hurt to look at. Mia felt every eye turn to her as she entered on Adrian's arm. Smile, he murmured. Show them you're not afraid. I am afraid. Then lie better. Counselor Thorne appeared immediately, his white hair gleaming under the chandeliers.
Adrian.
Miss Chen.
How?
Lovely that you could join us. Where's Seraphine? Adrian asked flatly. Fashionably late, I'm sure. Thorne's smile didn't reach his eyes. A word, Adrian? In private. Adrian's grip on Mia's arm tightened. No. It's council business. Then it can wait. Adrian steered Mia away, toward a quieter corner. Don't accept drinks from anyone. Don't talk to anyone I haven't cleared. Don't. Breathe. Exist. Mia pulled free. I know the rules, Adrian. Stay close, stay quiet, be the good little human.
Mia.
I need the bathroom. I assume even prisoners get that privilege. Adrian's jaw tightened, but he nodded. Luca will escort you. The bathrooms were predictably lavish, marble and gold and mirrors that made Mia look like a stranger. She splashed water on her face, careful not to ruin the makeup, and tried to steady her breathing. This was hell. Beautiful, terrifying hell. When she emerged, Luca was gone. In his place stood Lady Seraphine, radiant in a blood-red gown that matched her lipstick. Lost your guard, dog? Seraphine asked sweetly. Where's Luca? Dealing with a small emergency. How convenient, Seraphine moved closer. You know, I've been thinking about you, Mia. About what you must feel, trapped in our world. I don't want to talk to you. No, you want to run. I can see it in your eyes. Seraphine's smile was almost kind. What if I told you I could help? Mia hesitated. Help how? Come, Seraphine linked her arm through Mia's, surprisingly gentle. Let me show you something. Against her better judgment, Mia let herself be led to a private balcony. The night air was cold, refreshing after the stifling crowd. Champagne, Seraphine offered, lifting 2 glasses from a nearby table. It's human safe, I promise. We keep some for the donors. Mia took the glass warily. What do you want? To apologize, Seraphine sipped her own champagne. I've been cruel to you. But you have to understand, I've loved Adrian for 2 centuries. Watching him throw everything away for a soul mark he didn't choose, she looked genuinely pained. It's breaking my heart. I didn't ask for this bond either. I know, Seraphine's eyes glistened. Which is why I want to offer you a choice. A real one, not Adrian's cage or death. What choice? Drink that champagne. All of it, Seraphine's voice dropped. In exactly 3 minutes, you'll feel sick. Adrian will rush you to his private doctor, a vampire named Dr. Vance. Tell Vance code word. Phoenix Rising. He's part of a network that helps humans escape vampire bonds. He can fake your death, get you out of the country, give you a new life. Mia's heart hammered. Why would you help me? Because if you're dead, really dead, or just appearing to be, Adrian would be free. Free to grieve, free to move on, free to finally accept what he's always known. Humans and vampires don't mix. Seraphine touched Mia's cheek gently. You'd have your freedom. He'd have his empire. Everyone wins. It sounded too good to be true. It probably was. But the glass was already halfway to Mia's lips when she heard the voice. Don't drink it. Luca burst onto the balcony, his face pale. Mia, don't. Too late. Mia had already swallowed. Seraphine's kind expression melted into something cold and triumphant. Oh, my dear girl. Did you really think I was helping you? Fire exploded through Mia's veins. She dropped the glass, gasping, as her knees buckled. Silver poison, Seraphine said casually, stepping back to avoid the spreading champagne. Deadly to vampires in large doses. To humans? Agonizing but not immediately fatal. You'll suffer for hours before your heart gives out. You said. Mia couldn't breathe. The pain was everywhere. I lied. That's what we do. Seraphine's smile was razor-sharp. But I wasn't working alone. A figure emerged from the shadows of the balcony. Ryan. Hey, baby, he said, grinning. Miss me? Mia's vision blurred. You. Lady Seraphine offered me $2 million to help kill you. $2 million, Mia.
Do you know what I could do with that?
Ryan crouched beside her convulsing form. You should have just paid me back when you had the chance. Adrian, Mia gasped. Is being detained by the council, Seraphine said. A convenient emergency. By the time he realizes what's happened, you'll be dead, the bond will be broken, and I'll comfort him through his grief. Luca tried to reach Mia, but Seraphine moved with vampire speed, snapping his arm like a twig. He screamed. Guards. Seraphine called. The human girl collapsed. Fetch Lord Black immediately. As darkness crept into Mia's vision, she saw Seraphine lean down, her beautiful face inches away. Humans have no place in our world, darling. You should have learned that sooner. Then everything went black. Adrian's roar shattered every window in the cathedral. Mia barely registered the sound through her pain. Strong arms lifted her, cold, familiar. Adrian's face swam into view above her, his eyes blazing crimson. Stay with me, he commanded. Mia, stay with me. Blood trickled from her nose. The silver poison felt like acid in her veins. She's dying, Adrian, Counselor Thorne's voice, falsely sympathetic. Silver poisoning. There's no cure. But perhaps this is fate's way of correcting a mistake. Adrian's head snapped up. Around them, the gala attendees had formed a circle. Vampires. Hundreds of them. Watching. No cure. Adrian's voice was deadly quiet. None that wouldn't require ancient blood magic, Thorne continued. Magic that would cost you dearly. Your strength. Your position. Perhaps even your immortality. He moved closer. Let her go, Adrian. Let the bond break naturally. You'll survive. You'll be free. Free? Adrian looked down at Mia. Her skin was turning gray, her breathing shallow. You call this freedom? She's just a human. Seraphine stepped forward, her red dress pristine, her face carefully arranged in fake concern. A waitress who stumbled into your life by accident. Is she really worth destroying everything you've built? Adrian's arms tightened around Mia. Through her fading consciousness, she felt something, the soul mark pulsing, connecting them. His rage. His fear. His. Who did this? Adrian's voice cut like a blade. Silence.
Who
did this? Does it matter? Thorne spread his hands. The poison is already. It was me. Ryan's voice, from somewhere in the crowd. Mia's blurred vision found him, held between two vampire guards. I helped. Lady Seraphine paid me to. Seraphine's mask cracked. You fool. Shut your mouth. But Ryan was past caring. $2 million to poison her. To help you kill her, so you could have him. He laughed hysterically. And you vampires think you're so superior? You're just as petty and jealous as any human. The crowd erupted in whispers. Thorn's face went cold. Seraphine, tell me this human is lying. Seraphine's beautiful features twisted. She had to die.
Don't you see?
Adrian would never choose us. Choose me, while she lived. I did this for the house, for our future. You poisoned my soul-bonded, Adrian rose, still cradling Mia. Power radiated from him in visible waves, dark, ancient, terrifying. You conspired with a human to murder what belongs to me. She's not yours. Seraphine screamed. She's a mistake. A weakness. Let her die, Adrian, and we can. Adrian moved. Faster than thought, faster than fear. One moment, he was 10 feet away. The next, his hand was through Seraphine's chest. She gasped, eyes wide with shock. I am Adrian Black, he said softly. Lord of the Black House. CEO of an empire worth billions. I have lived for 300 years. I have killed armies. I have destroyed civilizations, his eyes blazed. And you thought you could touch what's mine? He withdrew his hand. Seraphine collapsed, gasping. Not dead. Vampires were hard to kill, but broken. The council demands, Thorn started. The council demands nothing. Adrian's voice boomed with supernatural force. Every vampire in the cathedral dropped to their knees, compelled by sheer power. You want to talk about worth? About what matters. I built this empire from nothing. I united the houses when you were tearing each other apart. I am the strongest vampire in North America. He looked down at Mia, dying in his arms. And none of it means anything without her. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Adrian, think about what you're saying, Thorn pleaded. If you use blood magic to save her, you'll be vulnerable. Weakened. Your enemies will. Let them come. Adrian's smile was terrifying. I'll kill them all. He turned to the assembled vampires. Here is my decree. Mia Chun is mine. My soul bonded. My chosen mate. Anyone who touches her, threatens her, or even thinks about harming her will face me. And I promise you, his eyes swept the crowd, I am far more dangerous weakened than any of you are at full strength. You'll lose everything, Thorn whispered. No, Adrian looked at Mia again. Her breathing had nearly stopped. I almost lost everything. My empire, my power, my position, take it all. I don't care. He carried her toward the exit. The crowd parted like water. Where are you going? Someone called. To save her, Adrian's voice was steel. With ancient magic, blood magic, whatever it takes. It could kill you both. Then we die together. Adrian didn't look back. Better that than living in a world where power matters more than.
He stopped.
More than what? Luca asked, clutching his broken arm, limping after them. Adrian's jaw tightened. More than her. As they left the cathedral, Mia heard one more thing before darkness claimed her completely. Seize Lady Seraphine. Counselor Thorn commanded. And the human Ryan. They've committed treason against a vampire lord. The punishment is death. Ryan's screams followed them into the night. But Adrian never slowed. His arms held Mia like she was made of glass and steel, precious and unbreakable at once. Stay with me, he whispered again. Please, Mia, stay with me. I just figured out what you are, what you mean. She tried to answer. Couldn't. You're everything, he said. Everything I thought I didn't need. Everything I didn't know I wanted. His voice cracked. So stay. Please. Let me save you. Let me prove that you matter more than any empire. The world faded. But somewhere, in the place where their souls touched, Mia felt it. Love. Raw and new and terrifying. Worth dying for. Worth living for. Mia woke to candlelight and the smell of blood. Not her blood.
His.
Adrian sat beside her bed, pale as death, his wrist bandaged. On the nightstand sat an empty chalice, still stained with dark crimson. "You're awake," his voice was hoarse, exhausted. "Finally. How long?" Mia's throat felt like sandpaper. 3 days, Adrian's hand found hers, fingers intertwining carefully. The blood magic worked. Ancient vampire blood, combined with the soul mark bond. It purged the silver from your system. Mia looked at him, really looked. He seemed diminished somehow. Less terrifying.
More.
Human. "What did it cost you?" "My immortality," Adrian said it simply, like discussing the weather. "I'll still live centuries, but not forever. I'll age eventually. I can be killed more easily now. My strength is halved." Horror washed over Mia. "You gave up eternity for me?" "Eternity means nothing if you're not in it." His gray eyes held hers. "I meant what I said at the gala. You're everything." Tears burned Mia's eyes.
I'm nobody.
"I'm just. You're the woman who made me feel human again." Adrian's thumb traced the soul mark on her palm. "For 300 years, I was cold. Empty. Building empires because I had nothing else. Then you spilled wine on me." And suddenly he smiled, small and real. "Suddenly, I remembered what it felt like to be alive." "What about your board? The council? They'll destroy you for this." "Let them try." Adrian's smile turned sharp. "While you were recovering, I've been busy. Counselor Thorne has been removed from the council. Turns out he knew about Seraphine's plan. 6 board members have resigned. The rest voted unanimously to support me. They did. After I threatened to dismantle Black Industries and start over," he shrugged. "Vampires respect power, Mia. And even weakened, I'm still the most dangerous thing in this city." Luca appeared in the doorway, his arm in a sling but smiling. "She's up. About time. We've got a press conference in 2 hours." "Press conference?" Mia struggled to sit up. "Adrian's announcement," Luca explained. "It's going to change everything." The press conference was held at Black Industries headquarters, broadcast to vampire houses worldwide and human media networks. Mia stood beside Adrian, wearing a simple black dress, her hand in his. The soul mark glowed gold on her palm for everyone to see. "I am Adrian Black," he began, his voice carrying the weight of 3 centuries. "And I am here to announce a new era." Camera flashes. Murmurs from the vampire representatives. "For too long, our kind has treated humans as lesser. As food, servants, or playthings. The soul mark bond between Mia Chun and myself has shown me the truth. We are not superior. We are simply different." He squeezed Mia's hand. "And different can coexist." "Lord Black," a vampire reporter called out. "Are you suggesting integration?" "I'm demanding it." Adrian's eyes swept the room. "Black Industries will now actively hire humans in leadership positions. We will fund human-vampire joint ventures. We will lobby for laws protecting humans in vampire territories." He paused. "And any house that opposes this will find themselves cut off from our resources, our technology, and our protection." Chaos erupted. Vampires shouting.
Umansaring.
Cameras flashing everywhere. Adrian raised his hand, and silence fell. "I know what you're thinking. That I've grown weak. That love has made me soft." His smile was dangerous. "Test that theory. I dare you." Nobody moved. "Miss Chun," a human reporter called. "How does it feel to be the catalyst for this change?" Mia's heart hammered, but she stepped forward. "A month ago, I was a waitress working 3 jobs just to survive. I was invisible, powerless. And now I'm standing here because one vampire saw me as more than what I was." She looked at Adrian. "He gave up everything to save me. The least I can do is help him build something better." "Will you complete the soul mark bond?" another reporter asked. Mia and Adrian exchanged glances. The claiming ritual. The final step. "Yes," Mia said clearly. "Not because I'm forced to. Not because of politics or pressure. But because I choose him." And he chose me. Adrian lifted their joined hands, showing the matching golden marks. This bond was born from an accident, he said. A spilled glass of wine. A drop of blood. But what we're building from it, that's no accident. That's choice. That's love. 6 months later, Mia stood on the balcony of the Black Estate, no longer a prisoner, but home. The restructuring had been brutal. 3 vampire houses had declared opposition and found themselves bankrupted within weeks. The European covens had lodged formal complaints, then quietly started their own integration programs. The human world had exploded with debate. Some called Adrian a hero. Others called him a traitor to his kind. Mia didn't care about any of it. "You're thinking too loud," Adrian said, joining her. He looked different now, still beautiful, but warmer somehow. More alive. Just remembering, Mia leaned into him. "A year ago, I was afraid I couldn't make rent. Now I'm helping restructure vampire society. Regrets?" Not one. She turned to face him, the soul mark on her palm pulsing with warmth. "You gave up your empire for me." "I didn't give it up," Adrian's arms wrapped around her. "I just found something worth building it for." Their lips met, and the soul mark flared gold. Complete, eternal, chosen. In the distance, the city lights sparkled. A world where vampires and humans were learning to coexist. Where power bowed to love. Where a poor waitress and an ancient vampire proved that fate, however accidental, could be beautiful. "Ready?" Adrian asked. "For what?" "Everything," he smiled. Genuine, warm, human. Together. Mia smiled back. Together. And the bond that had started with spilled wine and a drop of blood became the foundation of a new world.